All right, here we are in Algebra 1. Today's lesson is 3-6, Intercepts from Tables. I am your host, Mr. Sindel, and today's date is Thursday, October, weird 10 there, 15th, 2020. Our objective today is to do what? Ripley. There it is, yeah. And you really do need to learn how to extend the table. The table rarely has both answers in it. So how do we do that? Let's go ahead and remind ourselves what it is, or what an X-intercept and a Y-intercept means. So I need someone with a quiet raised hand to tell me either the X or the Y-intercept. You're substituting a certain number in for a certain variable. Ripley again. Zero for, and it's the reverse of it, right? It flip-flops. Yeah. 0 for X. There it is. Okay, that's one of them. Someone give me another one. Yesenia. There it is. All right, and that just came from yesterday's lesson. You could see that the X and Y intercept had the 0 for X or 0 for Y, depending on what you're looking for. Let's do example number 1. I need to find the X and Y intercept of the line. And I will assume that this does generate a line. Khan Academy is pretty good about letting you know, okay, this is going to be a line. It's not going to be some weird curvy function. It's going to be a nice straight line. So assuming this is a line, what is the X and Y intercept of that line? How are we going to do that? And this is where I want to give a lot of thinking time, because look, there's no zeros. There's no zeros for X. There's no zeros for Y. So how am I going to find a 0 for one of those? The whole point is trying to get these, right? 0 for X. X doesn't have any zeros. A 0 for Y. There's no zeros for Y. What should I be doing here? Jose? Oh, you had your hand up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
You have to see the pattern for each one. So the first pattern is +3. For Y, I mean.
For Y, you're going down, you're doing +3?
Yes.
Okay.
And then for X, you're going +2.
And then for X, it's going to be +2, +2. Yeah. And I'm going to pause here because that's kind of the really key step. Everyone make sure that you see the pattern. And another way of saying what Jose said is that our delta Y, our change in Y, is a +3. And our change in X is a +2. Yeah, keep going, Jose.
And it's going to be for the Y, it's going to be 0. And the blank one.
On the top or the bottom one?
Bottom.
The bottom one's going to be 0? Oh, because you're adding 3 again, I see. Okay.
And then for X on the bottom, it's going to be 7.
7. How'd you? Oh, because you're adding 2. Okay. So down here, +2, and then you get 7. Okay.
On the top of X, it's going to be -1.
-1. How'd you get -1?
By subtracting 2 from 1.
Oh, because you're going the reverse direction. So instead of adding 2, you're saying, okay, so maybe I should use a different color for going backwards. So you're going backwards now. So this is -2, and you said -1, right?
Yes.
-1, okay.
And then for Y, it's -12 backwards.
-12. Yeah, I agree, because that's a -3, right? Yes. Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm going to pause right here. Make sure that everyone can follow the math. The pattern we saw, if you do the reverse of the pattern, you have to do the reverse of the operation. It was a plus here, then turns into a minus, going the reverse direction. Okay, so one of the intercepts is up here. It's either the X or the Y intercept, because there's a 0. What is this thing? 7, 0. Is that an X intercept or is that a Y intercept? Someone that hasn't spoken, sorry. Yeah, Zeke.
X-intercept.
Why is it the X intercept?
Because the 7 is in the X spot and there's 0 in the Y spot. So
Yeah, I mean exactly, yeah. The number is the one that you're talking about. So 7 is for X, so that is the X intercept. And I like the second way that you said it too. If you have 0 for Y, that is the definition of an X intercept. So we can come over here and say, let's label it, guys. The X intercept is 7, 0. All right, now we just need to find the Y-intercept and we're done, right? That was the original question. The question said, what is the X and the Y-intercept? Well, there's that one. But I need somehow, there's a 0 for y. I need a 0 for x. So there's no 0 there. What am I going to do? One person has an idea.
Can it be,
Yeah, question.
can it be like decimals or something?
Yes, and it is going to, well, it's not going to be a decimal. It'll actually come out
Like a
to,
fraction?
in this case, it will come out as a fraction. You're right, yeah. So it will be a fraction. Oh, yeah, and I don't know if you guys, I think I might have reviewed this or talked about this once. The sign language letter Q, now it lets me know that you have a question. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, Ripley, talk to us.
So if you take -1, just add 1. -1.
Oh, yeah, like if I agree, -1 plus 1 will get to 0, like this in between number, 0. Okay,
And after that, same thing to 12.
same thing to -12, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean by same thing?
Like, so you see, so you do the same thing on both sides. Because if you did -0, you wouldn't add up to anything. You know, minus it. So you do -12, you make it -11, and -1, you make it 0.
Okay, so let me try drawing out what you're saying. So let me do my work over here. So we have, I'm going to draw it like extend the table. So I have x and y. We had a -1 and a -12 here. You told us you want to, you wanted to add 1, is that correct, to this side? Plus 1, and that gets to 0. Okay, so that's what we were looking for. We wanted the 0 to be x because that's the definition up here of our y-intercept. Can you keep re-explaining again?
And then you have to do the same thing with 12, so you
-1, okay.
Or add 1, sorry.
Or add 1.
And then it'd be 11. And then -11.
-11.
And then
And then that would be the y-intercept. So there is something a little bit wrong with this, though. It's really, really close. The logic is sound. You're trying to get to this an x value of 0, which is all of our goal right now. The only problem is there's something going on with this right-hand side that isn't mathematically sound. And it's kind of hard to see, too. I see one person sees it. Does anyone else see it? And I give preference to Ripley since he's the one that talked last. If he can find his own mistake, that's even better. You want to try it? Yeah, go for it, Ripley.
I mean, is it because of both negative?
No, I mean, you're definitely going to have a negative y-intercept somewhere. Is it okay if I give it to Jose? Yeah, Jose, go for it.
So if you like add half of the pattern to x, you have to do the same thing for y. So you have to add 1.5.
Where did 1.5 come from?
3 divided by 2,
Why are you dividing by 2?
because you divided by 2 x, because it was like 2 plus 2, and then divided by 2 equals 1, and then you just added 1 for x. So that's divided by 2.
Okay.
You get 1.
So let me try drawing that down. So you're changing this delta x now. You're saying divide that by 2. So our delta x used to be 2, and then we're going to say, okay, well, let's go ahead and divide that by 2, and you say our new delta x is going to equal 1. And then you said, okay, the old delta y, the old change in y used to be 3 or plus 3, and you want to divide that one by 2 as well. So your new delta y, you said 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, is that correct?
Yes.
1.5. Okay, which would mean over here you're adding or subtracting 1.5? Adding 1.5, which means the answer should be
11.5. No, wait. 10.5.
10.5. So he's correct. The answer is 0, now you have 10.5. And that was a solid explanation too. I'm gonna explain it as a different way in a sec. Yeah, Yesenia. Oh, good job. Yeah, air high five. That's the COVID high five, right? I'll leave it up there for a bit, but let me explain it a different way. So I want to explain it using the word slope. If you remember back to our early days in Unit 3, we said that, I need some room here. So let me maybe move my table up to give me some room. So this is my new space to draw. We said that slope was equal to, oh, well, let's make that a question. What is slope? What's the formula for slope? You can just rattle this off because you've done this so many times now. Slope is one. Oh, yeah, rise over run. There it is. If you could raise your hand next time, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, rise over run. And yeah, another one, another definition, Ripley.
Delta X over delta Y.
Ooh, so
Delta Y over delta.
there it is. Yeah, delta Y over delta X. Yeah, so rise over run, delta Y over delta X. There's the like the Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. There's a bunch of different ones you can use. Whichever one you want, that it'll work the same. We know that our old, I'm using delta Y over here, I guess. So I'll use this second definition. I'll use Ripley's. So I'm really saying our slope was 3 halves. So I can come over here and they say that was 3 for the numerator and 2 for the denominator. Slope is just a number. It's just 3 halves. That number can be manipulated. I can say 3 halves, and we'll do a bunch of equivalencies here. 3 halves, I can multiply the top and bottom by any number that I want. Let me just choose a random one. 2. I can multiply the top and bottom by 2. And I could get 6 over 4. That's the same slope. I could divide the top and bottom by 2. If I had 3 halves and I divide the top by 2 and divide the bottom by 2, I could get 1.5 over 1, which is just 1.5, which is exactly what Jose used up here. That's still the same slope. It's 1.5 over 1. 1.5 over 1. I could have changed my change in y to 6 and my change of x to 4. You're really using this idea of slope, and slope is just a number. And numbers you can manipulate by multiplying the same thing over the same thing, because really we're just multiplying by 1, dividing by 1. So that might be a more confusing explanation. I'm just giving you guys different methods to try solving this. You get to choose your favorite and use it. Let's see how many people I lost. Can you guys give me the fist of 5 on example 1? Oh, I didn't lose too many. Okay, just a few. Got some 2s and 3s that I need to get. There are a few 4s. Okay, let's try another one. Example number 2. Again, I'm trying to find the x and y-intercept. So if you're giving me a 4 or higher for example 1, try this one on your own. Even if you're at a 3, maybe you want to try it on your own. You already did it? Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and finish these notes basically, because if you're done with example 2, you're done. Go do your summary. You can do Khan Academy. You'll be done nice and early. All right. I'm going to pause this just to give people a little thinking time. Okay, so someone help me. I don't care which direction you go. Are you trying to find X-intercept, Y-intercept? Anything will help me. And I eventually do need to call on every single person today, so I'm probably gonna have to cold call if you haven't. Oh, there's Diego. Yeah, go for it, Diego.
What I think you do first is you can already see that the x is going by positive 5.
+5, okay.
And the y, you can see that's going by positive 2 as well.
+2, okay. Nice, yeah, thank you. Did you want to keep going, or do you want to give it to someone else from there?
So after the negative 5 would be a 0, and then at the top of x would be a negative 20 going back.
Negative, and then yeah, coming up here. So let me change the color because we're going backwards. Oops. So keep that arrow there. So negative going backwards, that's going to be a -5, and you said that's negative 20. Okay.
And then on y, after the 5 would be 7.
Yeah, because adding 2 again, so that's going to be 7.
And at the top would be negative 1.
-1 because we're subtracting 2. Yeah, thank you. All right, someone else, tell me, what did we just find? One of these is 0, 7, so that's clearly an intercept. Which intercept is it? Who has not participated? We can either call on Braden, Alden, Haiti, or Carlos. Yeah, Alden.
0, 7 is the X-intercept
It is. Why?
because the X-intercept is, I mean, not the intercept, but the coordinate is
X coordinate is 0. Perfect. I love the explanation. All right. Now we need to find the X-intercept, which, I mean, we were close, right? We skipped over 0 right here. So maybe I have to expand my table once again. So I'll come down, do it down here. So if I had X and Y, and let's go, I guess, -20 and -1 and -15 and 1. How do I get this number right here? Because that should be 0. Like between -1 and 1 should be 0. How do I do that? And again, still giving preference to Braden, Haiti, or Carlos. But it is a harder question, I know. Let's see if we can circle back and get them. So Jose, I'm confident in your ability that you can solve all of these, so I'm probably not going to call on you. I'm sorry. You're too, like, I'm so sure what's going on. Zeke, I haven't heard from you in a while.
So, like, based off of the last one, I went changing y over changing x, and then that equaled out to 2 over 5. And from there, because, like, we got to get to 0, and to do that, -1 would have to be +1 to get to 0. And to do that, I'd have to divide the 2 by 2, putting it at 1, and then when I do one side, do both. So then I divided 5 by 2, and I got 1 over 2.5. And then added that to the equation. I had x equals 17.5 and y equals 0.
All right, there it is. And I'll have to go back through that a little bit slower because everything you said was spot on. I just couldn't keep up with you. Yeah, so I got to this point where, yeah, clearly to get from -1 to 0, I have to add 1. If I'm adding 1, that means my change in y is 1. This change in y is not 2 anymore, it's 1. And as Zeke said, in order to do that, you have to divide 2 by 2. I can't just divide the numerator, I also have to divide the denominator by 2. He told us that's 2.5, which means this side, the pattern for our change in x is 2.5. So plus 2.5, and he told me -17.5. And that's, I guess I can't really call on any new volunteers. There is our X-intercept. Our X-intercept is -17.5, comma 0.
I did 7 digits negative, and I used the negative sign. So I just
Oh, nice, cool. All right, and that's the end of the lesson, guys. Can you quickly give me a fist of 5? I know there are a few people that were at 2s or 3s. I want to see if you guys raise your score at all. And this is just the objective. How well can you use slope to extend the table to find both x and y intercepts? I'm seeing 5s, 3, 3, 3, a 5, a 4, a 3. Yesenia, what were you at again? 5. And Georgia was at a okay, a 3 kind of. Sounds good. And that concludes the lesson.